Well, I'm not an inductee, but I'm here to tell you about a meeting we had earlier today, a momentous meeting in the history of Texas music tourism. Right down the street, we formed the Texas Hall of Fame Commission right here in Kilgore, Texas. Before I tell you about that, though, I've got to tell you how excited and thrilled I am to be here in Kilgore, Texas. As a piano player myself, I probably don't have to remind you that Kilgore is the hometown of Van Cliburn, the world's greatest classical music pianist. And right after he had defeated the Russians over there in the piano competitions, the people of Kilgore invited him to stage a hometown reunion concert here in Kilgore. Most people don't realize what a hotbed of cultural sophistication this whole area is. They had to have it at the Kilgore Junior College auditorium. It was the only place big enough to hold everybody that was interested. They brought in a 9-foot Steinway piano from New York and red carpeting, and they got the concert all ready to go. And wouldn't you know, that week, a massive ice storm hit the whole region, paralyzing everything. There was so much ice on the trees, the limbs were breaking off. Saturday night came, and Van Cliburn showed up at the auditorium anyway, all dressed up in his white tie and tails, and went out on stage by the piano and announced to the crowd that, well, obviously there was going to be no performance that night, but as soon as the weather cleared up, he promised to come back. There's only a handful of people in the auditorium, but as he turned to walk away, one man stood up and says, "Mr. Cliburn, before you go, I want you to know that my wife and I drove in here from Longview, and we had to drive around all the fallen trees, and my pickup slid off in the ditch twice, had to be pulled out by a tractor." I said, "So, before you go, could you just sing one song?" Anyway, today we formed an organization called the Texas Music Hall of Fame Commission. Now, Texas possesses an unbelievable wealth of music history. There are about 25 museums already around Texas, like this one you're sitting in right now. And we have united all of these museums under one umbrella, and we are going to form a commission to promote all of these museums and set up what we call the Texas Music History Trail, which will be a map around Texas. People will get information on how to travel from one museum to the other. And in addition to that, after the first of the year, we're going to announce the location of the Texas Music Hall of Fame to be built in Houston. This will be a massive facility rivaling the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland or the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville. But unlike those museums, we will include all of the genres that have made Texas music such a force in American music. We will have Tejano music, we'll have soul music, we'll have country music, we'll have a whole floor of country music. We'll have hip hop, and we'll have jazz. This will be a world-famous tourist destination to draw people to Houston, and they will finally realize the impact that Texas music has had upon the world. Right now we have the charter here. The last person to sign the charter would be Doug Harris, who will bring in the Texas Radio Hall of Fame as one of our members.
Sharpie, what a novel concept.
Yeah. So if you can sign right there on the
With
right
pride,
in the middle, Doug.
With pride and on behalf of everybody in this room.
Okay. This is going to generously boost attendance at all these smaller museums around Texas, and each of them will be represented within the giant Texas Music Hall of Fame in Houston.
Thank you, Ezra. Take it away.
We have plenty of brochures and cards here. If anybody wants to pick one up on your way out, you'll be astounded what this means.